We don't always leave our home state of South Carolina to go on an adventure, but when we do, we always try to make a stop at an interesting place in South Carolina on our way out. During the spring break of 2026, while on our way to the Outer Banks, we stopped in Florence. Florence, South Carolina was once a place that I only drove through to get to Myrtle Beach. But today it has some of my favorite stops. Florence is truly more than a Buc-ee's or its well-known steakhouses of Western Sizzler and Quincy's. Last year, I had a wonderful time exploring the Florence Museum, and my kids loved the Veterans Park, which is really one of the most interesting veterans parks I have ever visited. While we did visit the National Cemetery last summer, we missed the Florence Stockade, which was our destination for this trip to learn and stretch our legs. In early September, after Sherman captured Savannah, it was decided to transfer all of the Union POWs from surrounding POW camps to Florence. This was done to prevent their rescue. Florence at the time was covered in trees and was swampy enough to make it more secluded. During this time, Florence was far from what it is today, but it did have 3 train lines that ran through it, making it an ideal place to transfer prisoners. When the first Union POWs were sent from Andersonville Prison to what would become known as the Florence Stockades, it was just a field. From September to November, at least 1,000 slaves built the camp. Unfortunately, the first 6,000 POWs arrived in September, and for the most part, they slept in a bare field with only a few makeshift tents. As a result, many men managed to escape, but all were captured by the 100 guards tasked with the job of watching the POWs. Eventually, the little over 23-acre camp had tall timber walls, and at each corner of the rectangular structure was an earthen rampart for artillery. In addition, a ditch surrounded the entire camp. Before the camp closed, at the most, the camp confined 18,000 Union prisoners of war. Notably, overcrowded huts and tents were utilized by the POWs to stay out of the elements. The camp was guarded by a force of 1,600 men, all too young or too old to fight. These, mostly boys and elderly gentlemen, were hardly shoed and wore tattered clothes. Of course, the prisoners were even more worse off, as they not only had to endure overcrowding, but sanitation problems and disease. Like all POW camps of the time, the prisoners suffered from malnutrition. During the war, the most sickly and unwell prisoners here at the Florence Stockade were used during prisoner exchanges. During the camp's operation, at least 2,800 men died here. Those who perished here were buried in mass graves, which are now part of the Florence National Cemetery. By February, Sherman was only 100 miles away in Columbia, so eventually all of the POWs here were released. Afterwards, the site was forgotten until the 1980s, when it was added to the National Registry of Historical Places. By 2008, this site was open to the public. Today, besides the informational gazebo and free audio tour, you can view the original ditch, defense positions, and a reconstruction section of the stockade wall. It is striking that a place once marked by such sorrow and suffering is now filled with the quiet beauty of nature, where walking and biking trails invite visitors to experience the peace and beauty all around. Beneath it all, the history of this place continues to endure. Oh, is it good? Yeah? Let me see what you got, Millard. Oh, yeah.
Wait, what that is that?
That's a good brisket.